Hi, I'm Scott Humphrey, CEO of the World Floor Covering Association, and this is Leadership Live. Let me ask you a question. Do you find yourself on the offense or on the defense during these crazy times? Being in the midst of a worldwide pandemic, something that's thrust on you like that, it would be very natural to feel a bit off balance, maybe even the need to step back and hunker down. But I want to challenge you, do not let this thing define you. Some of the greatest companies known to mankind and some of the greatest individual leaders known to mankind have emerged during times of great adversity. And you can too. Let me introduce you to one of those. His name was Joshua Chamberlain. He was very involved during the time of the Civil War. Born on September 8th of 1828 in Maine, he later attended college at Bowdoin College in Maine and returned there to teach rhetoric. He was very passionate about the Union, and he wanted the Union to stay together. Fluent in 10 languages, taught many classes there, he would talk to his students about the need to preserve the Union. And finally, one of the faculty members came to him and said, "Listen, Joshua, if it's that important to you, quit talking about it and go and do it." And so he went and enlisted in the Maine 20th Regiment. They found him very qualified, and so they made him lieutenant colonel. By 1863, a year later, he finds himself at the Battle of Gettysburg. That's right. He's fought through the Battle of Fredericksburg. He's now at the Battle of Gettysburg, and he is at the extreme left flank at a place called Little Round Top. Now understand, he's got 1,000 men when he starts this battle, and there are 80,000 men to his right side. He defends the left flank, and that means that if the Confederate army can get around him, they can circle around the Union army and be fighting them from both sides. Automatic win for the Confederates. What he's doing is vitally important. He's facing the Alabama 15th, and they keep charging up the hill time after time after time, and they will go back down and regroup. I told you that Chamberlain started with 1,000 men, but after 3 charges by the Alabama 15th, he's down to 80 men that are still able to fight. Knowing what's on the line, his brother Thomas, who's one of those 80 men and fights alongside him, comes to him and says, "Listen, the guys want me to tell you we're out of ammunition." And Joshua Chamberlain turns to his brother and he says, "Then go to the bodies of those who have fallen, to those who can no longer fight, and get the ammunition from them." And he said, "No, you don't understand, Joshua. We did that last time. There's nothing. What do you want me to tell the men?" And there's an awkward pause, what we would call a pregnant pause in theater. And then he turns to Thomas and he says, "Fix bayonets." Thomas goes back to his men and they said, "What did he say?" He said, "I think he may have lost it. He's going to charge. He said to fix bayonets." And you can hear them, the metal on metal, as the bayonets are attached to the rifles. And he stands up on top of a wall, which they actually constructed earlier that day. And Chamberlain says, "Charge." Now, the Alabama 15th has now been reinforced by a group from Texas, and there are a ton of people coming up the hill at them, and there are 80 people charging down the hill. And as they charge down the hill, the Confederate army is convinced that they have been reinforced, and they begin to fall back, run back, and surrender. In fact, Chamberlain's men not only won that battle, but they captured 400 of the opposing soldiers during the last run. One of his soldiers came to him and he said, "Colonel Chamberlain, I've got prisoners of war over here and I have no ammunition." And Chamberlain looked at him and he said, "Well, don't tell them." It was an amazing feat. At a time when most people would have fallen back, maybe even surrendered, Chamberlain said, "Charge." Listen, I know the world out there is crazy. It's very difficult to take an offensive stand, but I challenge you to do just that, because here's one man that in the face of everything coming against him said, "I'm not going to fall back. I'm not going to hunker down. I'm going to charge into this. If I go, I'm going to go doing something." And he literally changed the world. You say, "No, hey, don't get carried away." No, he changed the world, because historians will tell you that had he lost that battle and the Confederate army had been able to come around the left flank and surrounded the Union army, they would have won the Battle of Gettysburg. And had they won the Battle of Gettysburg, they would have won the war. And had they won the war, there would be no United States of America. We would look like Europe, small countries close to each other, trying to work together. There would have been no one to defeat Hitler and simultaneously battle Hirohito from Japan in the Pacific. One man made one decision. He decided to move forward. That is leadership. I challenge you, your people are looking to you and they're longing for your leadership. This is the time to step up. Don't fall back. Let them know we got this, and do something. Let them see you lead and go change the world.